The thing about loving someone who does not love you back is that you will be reminded of it every single day. Almost everything they do and almost every step that they take will be a reminder that they don't love you. And you can have as much fortitude, as much mental fortitude as you are capable of having. You can be very aware of the fact that complaining about it and being sad, frustrated, or angry about it is not going to accomplish anything. And you can have the mental clarity to realize, especially if they made it clear that they do not love you, that you asking them to behave a certain way or to treat you a certain way would be you asking them, begging them to love you, which you cannot do. You cannot do that to someone. Even in that scenario, it doesn't change the fact that it hurts like hell. And nowhere is that more relevant than when it comes to texting. I'm sure that a lot of people out there who are indeed in love is still engaged in this sort of dismissive texting behavior. I, someone who doesn't, and I'm sure that some people out there also don't really do that. But when you're in love with someone, at least as I see it, you could have been run over by a bus. You will still find a way to call that person. You will still find a way to message that person. When you're in love with someone, you cannot, the thought of spending an entire day without talking to that person fills you with dread. The thought of not answering a message, the thought of not replying, the thought of taking way too long to reply will fill you with dread. But when you don't love that person, you ultimately don't really care. And this is the ultimate reminder that this person just doesn't love you. And I really feel like this is something that actually goes beyond that. I've heard from people who say that in order to make friends as an adult, you need to engage in some very cringe-ass behavior where you are very needy and clingy, and you persist when it comes to texting and making plans and keeping in touch with each other. Because most people, even when they fuck with you, most people don't really fuck with texting. Most people seem to have an aversion to texting. They just don't do it consistently, and they just don't put effort into it at all, even if they actually fuck with you. I feel like a lot of the times you could have as many excuses as possible, and they can all be valid. You can be the busiest person in the world, and you can have 10 different reasons as to why you are not replying. At a certain point, the overarching reason, on top of all the other reasons, it's just because you don't want to. You're not replying because you don't want to. And if you're in the same situation where you're in love with someone and you're being reminded that the love is not reciprocated through a lot of tiny little details, including the way they text, just know that at the end of the day, they just don't want to. Like it takes 10 seconds. I don't think anyone can deny the fact that 99% of the time, it takes 10 seconds for you to answer to a message. If we're talking about a 5-minute long audio message bombardment, or if we're talking about a wall of text, yeah, I get it. That can be annoying. But 99% of the time, it's gonna take 10 seconds for you to answer to any given message, no matter if it's from a friend, a colleague, an acquaintance, or a potential lover. It takes 10 fucking seconds to reply. So if you cannot do that consistently, it's just because you don't want to. Like, you can have as many excuses as you want. You can have as many valid reasons for that, and they will never stop being valid reasons, by the way. But at the end of the day, you just don't want to. And again, that is, to me, that is the biggest reminder of just how much of a disparity of feelings is there when we're talking about a situation where there's unreciprocated love. This this is not me complaining, really. Again, I'm very aware that complaining is not going to do anything. I feel like a situation like this, it's about acting and doing something. So this is not me just complaining about it. I just really need to talk about it and vent. Because again, I don't really think it's just about unreciprocated love. I think people just don't really care about texting, and most people don't really put effort into texting, even when they do like the other person. So yeah, that's it, I guess.
Little John worked diligently for 10 years, saving $1 million to buy his own house. However, the space he could afford was only 0.01 square meters, so tiny that not even his pet could live there.